Late night live. The crew is here, it's late night live. The maestro of the night, the garage gamer with his soundboard of might. Taking the professor, welcome classes in session. Talk with Eric tonight. His nostalgia for vintage will blind your digital sickness. Keyboard Chris from the Sojax's media grounds will find the answer tonight for the question last week. It's late night live. The crew is here, it's late night live. Let's not forget Travis is here. What's his nickname again? Let's fucking go! It's late night live with the garage gamer and Keo. Fuck it, we're doing it live. The crew is here, it's late night live. The maestro of the night, the garage gamer with the soundboard of might. Taking the professor, welcome classes and sister. Welcome classes in session, tapping for your light. They done the professor light for the question last week. Talking talk with Eric tonight. Fucking talk with Eric tonight. His nostalgia for vintage will blind your digital sickness. Keyboard Chris from the Soul Texas media grounds will find the answer tonight for the question last week. It's late night live. The crew is here, it's late night live. Let's not forget Travis is here. What's his nickname again? Let's fucking go. It's late night live. The garage gamer and Keo. Fuck it, we're doing it live. It's let's start the show. Fucking go. Fucking go.
All right. That was a little, I wasn't expecting the curse words there, Chris. But yeah, this is Late Night Live, episode 43. So, well, I guess we'll
do it live. Fuck it.
we'll just do it live. All right. But anyway, yeah. What's up, everybody? So we should have pretty much the whole gang here tonight. Some of them are running late. 8-bit gaming legend, you are coming to us live from a hotel room in Seattle. Is that correct?
That is correct. I'm at the Washington State Horror Convention, and then going to the Seahawk game on Sunday.
Dope.
Yes.
You get all over.
But this is it. This is it for the rest of the year. We're tapping out. I've done too many things.
Whatever. There's going to be another one next week.
No, it is tapped. We're done.
Let me pull this up too.
We're done. Yep.
Real quick. What's going on here?
So that's my buddy Davey, who is with me on this trip, and that's Kane Hodder for those who live under a rock, which I hope you guys don't, that are watching the show. He played Jason in part 7, 8, 9, and X. And so that is his part 8 costume, takes Manhattan. Huh. That is him too. It's not just some random guy. We know it's him.
Yeah, that could be like Chris under there.
Could be, but it's not. It's really not.
Did you have to pay extra for him to be dressed up?
You did. Yeah, you did. It was worth it, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, you'll have to talk about this more later on. Like, I have no idea what is going on with this convention, so that's cool. Any video games last week, Dathan?
I was able to dabble in a few games on Tuesday after I got back from New York. That was my recovery day. A little bit of Vampire Survivors, a little bit of college football. That was pretty much it for the most part. The DLC for Vampire Survivors comes out next week.
Oh, you know what? I was going to pull a video for that. It looks cool.
Okay.
It was cool. I forgot to.
The Castlevania DLC. But that's pretty much, there's a lot of stuff that came out the last week or two. I haven't finished Zelda yet. I think I didn't play any before I left for New York, so I got to finish that up. And then Oh, I did hit up about an hour of NWC as well, but that was pretty much it.
Chris, how about you? Any video games last week?
Well, quite a few. I jumped back into Silent Hill 2. I bought Dave the Diver on my Switch, which I don't know if you've played that one.
Oh yeah. I played the demo of that.
That's pretty interesting. And then I picked up Sonic and X Shadow Generations today and played the first level in Sonic and the first 2 levels in Shadow.
Nice.
I thought that was it's a pretty good game.
I did pull video of that. Here's the Green Hill Zone. Did you play the original when it came out?
I didn't.
Like, what do we mean original? Like the OG?
Sonic Generations.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, I assume all you guys have played the original Genesis version.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, no, I like that it's kind of that 2D style in a 3D looking version. There's parts of it that go 3D.
Mm-hmm.
And the music is on point for sure.
Yeah.
And it's got a good frame rate. I like that. Oh, I need to turn off that little health person.
So be careful.
Be careful. Don't lose a life.
Yeah.
Use the spin dash to break through the rocks and
Did you know you could use a spin dash, Chris?
I did, but I bought it on the Xbox.
Oh, okay. I got mine on PlayStation, actually.
Yeah, the moment you put it on the Xbox, it asks you if you want to download the upgraded version.
Upgraded version?
Yeah, I don't know if it's just...
You gotta pay for it, or is it just included, or what?
It's included.
Oh.
So it was...
Well, why would you not? What's the point of...
Oh, I did it. It'll let you do the Xbox One version. Is that what it is? And then you do the Xbox Series X version?
I don't know if it says Xbox Series S and Xbox Series X on the case. So I'm guessing maybe the S is a inferior version.
I think on the PlayStation side, it gave me the option I could download either the PlayStation 4 or the PlayStation 5 version.
Okay.
So I'm assuming the PlayStation 5 version has more stuff for the DualSense and maybe better graphics or something.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Probably.
Did you get to play any of the Shadow stuff?
Yeah, I played the first 2 levels.
It's good, right? Like, I think the Shadow stuff is the coolest part. It's like Inception, Doctor Strange kind of stuff. Weird, but it's also weird Japanese. Like, this stuff doesn't remind me of Sonic the Hedgehog at all. Turn it down.
Yeah, I don't...
It's like floating in air.
I've fallen off the level a couple of times playing Shadow.
Yeah. I
Because
do
it
remember
doesn't-
him doing that skating stuff in maybe Sonic Adventure. But this is going to be a good tie-in for when they do the movie. I think the movie comes out in December.
I think it's a Christmas movie.
Yeah, and they already announced that this game has already done sold 1 million copies.
Damn, that's quick.
Yeah, so this is a major win for Sega. Like, I think the positive, good reviews that people gave on this game really helped. Leakrian's here. This is straight out of Shadow the Hedgehog as far as style. That's great. And I don't know if you saw that too. Like, I like how it looks like you were in one area, and then all of a sudden now you're in the desert. Like, instant. That's cool.
You gotta use that chaos control.
Yeah, I gotta use that. Gotta get your fastest time. I'm sure Leakrian will want to try to beat my time now. But everything about, like, Sonic is cool already, but Shadow is, like, even cooler, right?
Is this a standard, like, $60, $70 game, or is it, like...
It was $49.99.
Okay.
Yeah. I think there's a digital deluxe version for another $10. You get extra skins or something. I only got a B. Don't look at that, Leakrian. Did you play... I like this stuff, too. They have the pinball stuff. Oh, Dathan, you're inverted.
Am I?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
You're on the ceiling. Come down.
Am I upside down?
That Shadow stuff really threw you for a loop.
Oh.
We'll come back. But yeah, did you get to play any of the pinball stuff?
I didn't play the pinball stuff. I didn't know this was in there.
Yeah, in the first game, Generations, you'll find a pinball table just walking around. So it's really cool. So, like, this is just right I feel like Sonic Spinball or something. And you gotta collect those, I don't know if they're coins or they're... Yeah, something to get the score up. It's back.
There it is.
Are we back?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I can see your video a little bit better now, too.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
We were just talking about how there's a pinball mode in the Sonic game too, which was cool.
Oh, nice. The classic Sonic Spinball.
Yeah, exactly.
Am I upside down again?
You're upside down again.
That's all right. We'll go with it. If I go back here.
Just teaching the class upside down today.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also got to play for the first time that home edition of Jurassic Park. They're at Costco, the Stearns pinball machine.
Oh, you did? There was no kids playing it?
There are no kids, but the plunger was broken on it.
Oh, God. Seriously?
Yeah. And when I went to touch it, I was like, this really feels cheap compared to the ones up at... hey, Travis.
Hi.
Travis?
It feels really cheap compared to the ones up there at Next Level. So they're premium and elite edition. Oh, now he's gone back to the black hole.
Oh no, we've got more victims to the under, huh?
Yeah, well, he was upside down there for a while, and now he's in the black hole. You know,
That's even more impressive.
yeah.
Yeah, sorry I was late. I had the homecoming game.
It's all good. Did
The
they
football season for high school?
Did they win the game?
Well, it's not over, but when I left, it was 40-something to 13. So I think they're going to be okay. I left right after half. Yeah.
Unless your team's the one that has 13, then
Yeah. No, would be a bummer of a homecoming game, but you know, not the first in history.
yeah.
Do any gaming last week, Travis?
I did. I beat God of War Ragnarok. Not last night, the night before that, and so now I'm doing the cleanup stuff.
Where's my clapping sound hit?
Well, it's funny because I kind of rushed. Like I didn't rush, but I felt like the heat to get it done because I thought that Baldur's Gate or not Baldur's Gate 3, sorry, Dragon Age is coming out right away. But turns out that I was off by a week. I thought it was coming out yesterday, and it's coming out next Thursday on Halloween. So
Oh,
so now I can go do all the cleanup stuff that those types of games give you, where you've got additional tasks after you've beat the game.
was
Can you
I
hear me?
enjoyed it.
Can you hear me?
yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
You're good, Dathan.
Awesome.
Overall, though, did you really enjoy Ragnarok?
I did. I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny
here's-
because those games
I
kind of
might
hit
clap.
me at parenting life things, right? So like
Right.
my daughter's getting ready to go to college, and I won't spoil the game, but there's stuff about growing up in that game, right? And then in the other one, it was about having a child and parenting, being a dad with a child that I don't necessarily know what to do with, and that was happening in a time in my life where that kind of was a thing, right? So it's kind of cool to play through a game where you can kind of identify with the character and the story that's being told through it, right? So then I showed my wife the ending of the game, and she wasn't as impressed. I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. It's a game. I'm like, well, no, there's a thing here. She's like, there's TV shows about this stuff all the time. You don't need a game to do this. I'm like, okay, well, I don't watch TV shows, so here you go. This is what I got. But no, I did enjoy it. Nowhere near as challenging. That's the review that I would give. I felt like the difficulty was stepped back a notch myself. At least the challenges. You know how you have the Valkyries in the first one that were your optional battles, and in this one you have the Berserkers. I didn't feel at all. No, I'm not quite done with all the Berserkers. I think I have one left, but I didn't feel at all like they were as challenging as the Valkyries were in the first God of War. So.
Yeah, maybe I don't know. Do another playthrough, and you can increase the difficulty level.
Well, I don't need the
Oh,
challenge.
wasn't
I just
there-
thought it was there.
Chris, isn't there a DLC for that game that is a lot harder?
I don't know if it was that one or if it was the original God of War.
Because
there
I
was
had
the
that
new
DLC, yeah.
I think
I think.
you should try that new DLC because I think that might be more of a challenge. I think you have to do waves of enemies or something. I don't know exactly.
it was Valhalla, and it
Yeah.
turned into a roguelite, and you essentially had to go through and beat it without dying.
So it has that mode. The PC version does have that mode.
Mhm.
I just so you're just basically just single lifing through a game. I'm not complaining that the difficulty was maybe etched down a notch from God of War, because I don't need in just where I'm at gaming, I don't need a super challenging game. But I like a game where every once in a while it stumps you for a while and it gets under your skin and you're stuck maybe for a day. But yeah, I was kind of surprised because when I beat it and I beat the bosses at the end, I was surprised at how it didn't really take much. I just kind of did it. Now maybe I got lucky and geared up my character, because that's another thing in these games, right? Where maybe I lucked out and I picked up all the high potent gear, but not to spoil anything, but you do get handed gear towards the end of the game anyway. So I felt like I probably had the same gear that everybody did at the end, because I just used what they gave me at the end. So yeah. But no, I enjoyed it. I'm glad that Sony's moving games to PC, because now I understand why there were so many PlayStation fans. The studios that they have that are making these exclusive games, they do have something, I would say, special with what they're doing. Uncharted was really good, and the God of War 2 that I've played are really good. The what's the one with the alloy? The event.
Forbidden West.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also the one before that.
Forbidden Horizon.
Zero
Yeah,
Dawn.
I never beat them, but I thought that they were well done, So anyway, that's my rant on the Sony stuff. It's good.
Were you disappointed that you did not get to use Mjolnir? Maybe
Oh
this is a spoiler.
no, no,
I
no,
kind of
no.
was.
Were you okay? Well, I mean, I thought that the story with Thor and his daughter, that was another one of those where I was like, this is well played. Like so I was a little bit more too wrapped up into Thor's decisions at the bar and the way his daughter didn't approve, like to where the Mjolnir thing I didn't actually really think about it because the only way you're going to get that is so I guess to me it was like, oh well, that was kind of nice, the way that ended. Well, obviously, but yes, that one part I was like okay with.
Well,
But
the
we'll see.
collector's
Yeah.
edition, it comes with the hammer,
Oh, does
but
it? Did you
yeah,
never get to use it?
but you don't get to use it in the game. So it's
Oh.
like, oh, it's like, I
You
don't
could you could
know.
you maybe you should have taken that with you to one of the conventions, and then you could have used it on some annoying people.
Yeah, right.
You got to use these toys for something, right?
Oh, I saw there's some one for the Avengers where it's got that locking mechanism where someone tries to pick it up and they can't pick it up because it's like too heavy. But then
It
there's like a
locks
trick
into
to,
like it's got a
yeah,
base. That's
and
cool.
then but there's like a trick like you unlock it and like,
Uh,
oh, I can lift the hammer now. I guess I'm
That's funny.
worthy, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
That's
I wish
that's a
that
cool thing.
so I wish that Sony would be quicker to release to PC. Because now that I've gone through a couple of these Sony games, I'm going to be honest, there will be a temptation to maybe pick up a PlayStation if they keep holding these games out for a year or two. If my well does dry up of PC release games, now if I was to choose between a console, and I'd always been Xbox before, but now I think I would actually go PlayStation, just based off the fact that I'm really enjoying the stuff that Sony's exclusives have put out. Uncharted 4 did a lot to actually. I think it was 4 in the series, right? That's one that I said that I played with. It had like Den of Thieves and something in it. That actually did a lot to sway me towards that too, because I didn't expect anything out of that game, and I really, really, really enjoyed my time with it a couple weeks ago when I beat that one. So yeah,
I think they're getting faster at getting them to PC because like Spider-Man 2 they just announced is coming to PC
it
on
will. Yeah,
Steam, but it's coming out
yeah,
in January. I think that's probably the shortest time turnaround that they've had.
yeah.
Uh, but it should be day and date the same as PlayStation. I feel
Yeah.
because that's Xbox does do that.
So, Sam, my issue with buying a Pro is actually not anything about price or about any of that stuff. It's that the majority of my gaming now, right now, is done on my gaming laptop, and I do it often not in shared spaces. That allows me to be able to do it like in my bedroom or in my office or whatever, right? As opposed to having to be tied to a TV. And so that's actually why, because I thought about it. I was like, hey, maybe it's time to pick up a PlayStation. But the fact that that would tie me back to a shared space where the family is, for me, that actually is a detractor for doing that.
Not
And that's
necessarily. Not if you get a
okay.
PlayStation and then you decide to, I'll throw down another $200 and I'll get a Portal. And then there you
Oh,
go.
oh, so the Portal's the handheld one?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And you can take that anywhere.
Okay.
As long as there's
Yeah,
Wi-Fi.
as long as there's. Oh, so that's right, because that one requires the Wi-Fi, right?
Yeah.
You could take it to Seattle with you, Dathan.
I mean, I could.
But here's the thing: the one thing I've heard now, if you're a physical game collector and you want to do that, you have to have someone at your house. If you want to change games, you got to swap out the discs.
That's right. So you got to be
So
prepared ahead of time. So if I was up here right now and I have my Portal and I wanted to play Horizon or
You gotta
Astrobot or
book it.
whatever, I would have to have the game in the actual in the console, and that's the only physical game that I would be able to play unless I did own it on digital, which I have my digital library, would be able to access anything that's on there.
but like that is totally why you would just go digital.
Wait, so is the
Like,
Portal streaming the game content? Is it using Wi-Fi to stream across your network and the game is
Yes.
actually being played
yes.
from your console? Then what they
Yes.
need to do, they should do this then. How good? Well, I would have to see how good it is, but what I would want is for them to do like Nvidia tried, where you can stream to a laptop. Like let us stream on Windows at that point.
Right.
And then you'll sell me the console and you'll sell me the game. So you've got a win-win there, and then I'll be playing it on PC. My guess is that the graphic quality gets kind of to where it can start seeing its issues if you're playing it like on an 18-inch laptop or 16-inch laptop. I'm
Hmm.
guessing that that's where that starts kind of falling apart.
Yeah, because
But
I think
gosh, if they could hone
the
that,
Portal is, I think, 7 inches. I think 7 inch
yeah,
screen, and it plays flawless. Like
yeah,
let me correct myself. After the most recent update it did, it's played flawless. There were a few glitch issues that happened when I first got it.
yeah.
There would be a freeze for a second or two, but since the latest update where it did improve the Wi-Fi, I haven't had any issues with it at all.
Well, I will say there is a tiny bit of lag. So
Is there?
so if you're gonna play a game like MLB The Show,
Mm-hmm.
it's not exactly what it needs to be compared to like being right in front of your console. So what was the other game I was playing? There was a little bit of lag. Oh shoot, I can't remember it. But if you need instant response, maybe
Mm-hmm.
the Portal is not for you. But it's perfect for other type of games. And if your television is always overtaken by your kids or the wife or whatever, a mother-in-law,
Well,
it's great. And you
this
can
is
take it
gonna
on the road.
this is going to be the most embarrassing thing to admit, but it's not that it's taken by anybody. It's the sheer like the being able to game from my bed allows me to get ready for bed and game until I pass out.
That
Whereas
was embarrassing.
if I'm downstairs, I game until I'm like, well, I guess it's time for bed. Go upstairs, get ready for bed, and all of that stuff. It actually eats into my gaming time. Like having to game downstairs because then I'll be like, well, it's about 11 o'clock. I think I'm gonna head off to bed. If it's just me and a laptop, I can game until like 2, and then be like, oh, okay, I dozed off too many times there. I'll just go ahead, set this thing down, and and roll over, right? So no,
What an ugly thing to say.
it is what it is, man.
Oh, jeez.
No shame. I'm a gamer, No shame in any of that.
Yeah. No, it's good. There's definitely pluses and minuses to each system for sure.
Yeah, and I'll
Uh,
be honest, I would just before I had a family, before it would have just been like you're gaming on the couch and now you just go ahead and, lay down on the couch and wake up in the morning. Nowadays everybody wakes up way earlier than I would want to if I was gaming till 3 in the morning and did that. It's like no, now I got to go upstairs and go to bed.
Chris wakes up early in the morning in games, right? Right, buddy?
Yep, I'm usually up at 1 in the morning.
Yeah.
Waking up at 1 in the morning to game. So that's the start of your day.
Yeah, because I usually end up going in at work at 3.
Yeah, so you and I have opposite shifts that way then, yeah.
So
Okay.
I got a lot of problems with you people.
Yeah, I didn't deny it was a badge of honor, man. I make no bones about any of that stuff.
So we had talked about the Sonic X Generations game earlier. The other big game that launched today was the new Call of Duty game. Are any of you guys looking forward to that one? I have not had a chance to download it yet.
Same. I haven't, like, 'cause I've been up here. I'll just Game Pass it, but I don't think
Yeah.
I'm not gonna play it just like religiously like I used to with the Call of Duties. But I'll throw it on just to check it out.
Okay,
Probably.
cool. You'll have to let us know how it is. I've seen quite a few people streaming it today, and the story mode looks good from what I've seen. You do some like sneaking around and stuff, which I wasn't expecting.
yeah, I mean, review-wise, from what I've seen, it's the best Call of Duty in over a decade. So I don't know what that means since I haven't played Call of Duty since Call of Duty 2. So That's like telling me that water's wet. I really don't know a whole lot. So
Did you play that Call of Duty game where it was like the first one where you're in like World War One? And I think it
I
was
did.
on. Yeah, it was on like Xbox, the
It was
original.
on. I think it was on. Was it the first one that had multiplayer? Because if it was the first
Yes.
multiplayer one, that was Xbox 360, and that was
Oh my.
very
Yeah, you
very
might be
very
right.
limited what you could do when you played.
Chris Akins is gonna play it. Zombies.
Oh, it's got a zombie mode on it.
Yeah.
I stopped as soon as they introduced wall jumps with jetpacks. Is when I stopped playing. That's when my Call of Duty days were wrapped up. When that stuff was introduced, I'm like, well, that's it.
That's
I
like
think that was.
Halo.
I think that was. I don't play Halo, so I wouldn't know.
Call of Duty 2 was my only experience with Call of Duty.
I think
That's
I invested the most time in Modern Warfare. That was probably the one that I a good chunk of time was invested in that. And other than that, that was pretty much it.
Meatball Saucy's here. What's going on, buddy? My children played it from launch, min to current. I don't think either of them have slept. Yeah. So Dathan, you are the traveling man. Like, you have gone to more conventions this year than anyone I've ever heard of.
You know, I was talking to my wife about this the earlier this week, actually when we flew back from New York, that this is probably the most conventions I've done in a year since I started going to them. And the thing is that it's not just a single type. There's different varieties of conventions that have
Sure.
occurred this year. So
So
yeah, like
wait, go through them all real quick. Which
go
ones
through
have
them
you gone
all.
to?
I
Can
don't
you
think
do
I
it?
have a list. Well, I live in the Pacific Northwest, and so there was a fan expo. There's been I didn't go to the swap meet like you guys went to. I had to pass on that because I was at the Transformers convention.
You didn't miss much.
That's what I hear. And then I went to SummerCon in Seattle, and I went to PAX. I went to Rose City. I'm up here now. I know I'm missing like 5 or 6 of them that are tucked in there. I went to another Transformers convention in August with my buddy Chris, who's here now.
Your New York trip was the biggest one.
New
of the
York,
year,
yeah,
though,
I
right?
went to yeah, that was the biggest one that I got back from on Monday. Yeah, I know there's 3 or 4 that I'm missing that are in there somewhere.
So take us through the New York trip. Like, so what did you mainly go to New York City Comic Con for? Was it mainly the toys, or just the whole? Like, what really attracts you to that one? What do you really like? Because man, I've been watching a lot of videos on it, and dang, it looks
with
cool.
the bigger conventions that are like New York and San Diego, it's mainly just to experience it, just because there's 4 big conventions that happen a year. There's Emerald City, which is in Seattle. There's C2E2, which is in Chicago, New York, and then there's San Diego. Those are like the big 4. And I guess I wanted to go to at least all 4 of them at some point in my life, just to compare them and see how that they are. And I will say that I think New York is bigger than San Diego. The amount of people that they had there was pretty staggering. I was shocked at how many people were there. But for me to go, I'm not looking for anything particular. It's more so just to kind of get the experience to see what they have. Now, that doesn't mean that if there was something that I saw ahead of time that I wanted to pick up, I wasn't gonna not try for it. I did pick up about 8 different New York Comic Con variant covers for Transformers. like
Exclusives?
foil covers, and yep, I picked up I tried to pick up all of them I could, as many as that I could. And I knew where all the booths were to go and pick them up. I think I missed one that I didn't get because it sold out right away. But for the show itself, this was the biggest one that I've been to that had a bigger presence from bigger studios. Like Marvel had a huge presence there. They had a huge thing set up, which was they had panels, and they had a Daredevil panel and the Venom thing, and they had all these different things that were set up. And I spent a lot of my time hanging out the booths because they were doing free signings for some of their comics. That's where I sent you the video last week for the Lego Mansion, which
that was in the Marvel area.
Yeah, that was in the Marvel area.
Huh. Okay.
And it was very. Would I go again just to go to New York Comic Con? No. I would have to make a whole nother trip to go just to kind of offset, because it's a lot. It was 4 days of comics, and it's exhausting. But that was just maybe about a third of the trip. The other 2/3 was all the sightseeing and all that stuff. And I went to the Nintendo store in there up in New York, and so it was good. But for the con itself, I like to rate things 1 out of 10. I'd probably give it maybe a 7, just because it was just so goddamn crowded. It was like shoulder to shoulder. I went in there not expecting anything to pick up anything. Really, it was more so just to go in. If I get something great, if not, then it is what it is. But the trip as a whole, I had a great time. It was a good time.
I'd be interested in going to that San Diego one, but I've never been able to get a ticket to it.
I got tickets once, and I was supposed to go in 2020, but we all know what happened in 2020. They canceled everything. And then it kept getting pushed back, and then 2022 was when they brought it back, and it was to me, it was hell. It sucked. And I've been to a lot of these conventions, and I can deal with the big crowds, but some of these crowds are just like, you can't move. You spend most of your time in lines and stuff like that. So yeah.
So which one are you at right now?
I am in it's the inaugural Washington State Horror Convention. So
oh wow,
they've got a bunch of actors, actresses from all the horror movies from the 80s and 90s. They've got like the whole cast of Starship Troopers is here.
Denise Richards is there?
Yep, she's here.
She is, really?
Yep, she is here. Yeah.
How much is she charging for a photo? Because that's what happens, right?
Yeah, she's not okay. I'll sidestep here in just a second. But
is our buddy there?
LeBron James.
Is he there?
What? No, LeBron James has not made an appearance yet. But I will say that the prices are a little bit on the higher side than I was expecting. I was not expecting for some of these prices to that I saw. It was a little sticker shock.
Let me re-show this one again. Okay, so how much was this photo?
This was $120. $120.
Okay.
But it was split. It was split between my buddy Davey, who you see there on the right hand side, and myself. So it was 50, 55, $60, whatever.
Say in Spirits, that's the other convention. He doesn't talk about that one. He goes. Can you?
Yeah, I thought somebody was gonna say that. That's the. I think that's the.
That's the one in Las Vegas.
I think that's the like adult expo or something like that.
Oh, you're gonna get a picture with Christy Swanson?
That's probably not gonna happen. But they did have a few cancellations that happened that was kind of annoying. Right up to because Kiefer Sutherland was supposed to be here because they were doing a Lost Boys thing. Like all of the Lost Boys people were here, and I think 3 of them canceled at the last minute. So that was kind of a downer. But for the first time of the show, they're doing a pretty good job with this. Not too bad.
Is Corey Feldman there?
No, Corey.
Wasn't he in Lost Boys?
Yes, he's not here.
Is this the one where Elvira made some the actress made some waves by talking trash about Ariana Grande?
Oh, I did hear
Maybe
about that. Yeah.
because she's here.
there. Yeah, I'm looking
Yeah,
on their website. Yeah.
Yeah, she is here doing the thing. But I didn't know that there was some sort of controversy with her
Well, she said that
She tried to get a
Ariana
picture with her or
Grande-
something, and
Yeah,
got
that
brushed
Ariana
off.
Grande got a hold of her and said, "Hey, I need 20 tickets to your event because my family, for me and my family." And she said, "Okay, fine. Go ahead, that's fine. I can do that." And then yeah, then she came in and said, "Oh, by the way, my mom needs a photo with you. She's a huge fan." And so Elvira was like, "Yeah, of course, And so she did. And then Elvira turned to her after it was over and spending time with her mom and said, "Hey, can I get a picture with you?" And Ariana Grande supposedly said, "Uh, no, I don't do that," and then left. And this
Oh,
was before the show, and then she took off and didn't even stay for whatever show Peterson was doing. So she apparently at some convention was in a Q&A and told this story, and then it raised some, somehow it got on my phone, like in my little breaking news sort of thing.
What an ugly thing to say.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't search for Elvira or the classic film either, so I'm not sure where that one came from, but it was there. So
It was probably Chris's feed.
well, it could be because I have all of Ariana Grande's.
He watches like all the Twilight videos, so like
yeah, by proxy.
he's in that YouTube world. Like, yeah, I can't even go there, buddy.
Yeah.
Robert Patrick's not there, huh?
wait, who?
It said Robert
Terminator?
Patrick. Robert
he's here.
Patrick.
He's
Is he?
here. Yep.
He's
Oh,
getting up there in age.
They must have canceled his photo ops then, or he's sold out.
David Arquette is there.
Yep, David Arquette is here.
Oh, for Scream?
Yep. A lot of the Scream.
Juliette Lewis is there.
Yep.
Talk about annoying.
A lot of the Scream people are here.
Drew Barrymore there?
No.
Natasha
Drew
Henstridge is there.
Yep. Lance Hendrickson is here.
Dang, there's a lot of people there.
Yeah, Lance Hendrickson. He's getting up there.
I've got a picture with Lance Henriksen.
Yeah, he's getting up there. And then they got a couple of actor from what was that? The Hocus Pocus movies, I think. But they've been in other horror movies that have come out in the late 80s or 90s or whatever. Chris, Tony Todd did not make it, and I was actually bummed that this is the second time where I've tried to get him to sign something for me, and he's backed out. So, because I was trying to get him to sign my Spider-Man PlayStation 5 side plate because he played Venom, but he's backed out again. So hopefully,
Did you know Tony Todd played Worf's brother Kern in Star Trek: The Next Generation?
I did not know.
There you go.
Here's what I don't get. Like, I'm looking at their price list because they have this price list published there. What determines when somebody here, talent, says, you know what, I'm worth $80 or I'm worth $90 versus 60?
Well, you're like an A-list celebrity, and you go down. Like, you see how much you can get.
Is Juliette Lewis really an A-list celebrity anymore? I mean, maybe she is. I don't know.
No, Bruce Campbell's not here. I've met Bruce Campbell a couple times, and it's okay.
Bruce Campbell could probably charge for a little bit.
Well, he's got such a following, right?
I think
he's kind of got that. I don't want to call it a cult following, but he's got that kind of like the particular fan group that would definitely, show up for that.
Is there
Chris and I got our picture with Stan Lee, and he charged quite a bit.
Yeah,
he must have been at least 200.
Is there anybody with nobody? Like, do you ever walk by and it's the sad celebrity and like
Oh yeah. Okay.
nobody's
So
there?
Oh, that was
Because that would be my favorite. You could haggle, like, hey, how about 30
uh,
bucks? You got a second? 30 bucks.
so I went to when I first started going to conventions. Maybe not first, but after I had gone to like maybe a year or two's worth of conventions, I went to a Wizard World up in Portland. I think it was maybe 2013, 2014. And I walked by what Lando, Star Wars.
Oh yeah, Billy D.
Billy D.
Williams.
Williams. Yeah.
Nobody.
Nobody.
Not
Nobody.
a single person anywhere near. Just
You know what
just
that means? He's never coming back.
nothing. Nothing.
But
Then
didn't he get in trouble legally for something? Maybe I'm wrong on that. I thought that there was some controversy with Billy D.
yeah, I don't know, but he started showing up to conventions later on. I want to say maybe in the past 3 or 4 years. Sells out every time.
Oh,
Every
okay.
single time. Like you can't get tickets for anything, and it's ridiculous for what stuff is what he charges.
Chris, who was that guy on The Walking Dead that was like coked out of his mind at one of these?
Oh,
Uh, you know who I'm talking? The Rucker guy.
oh yeah, he was
Michael
on
Michael
Michael-
Rooker?
Michael Rooker.
Yeah, Michael Rooker. That
Yeah,
guy
Yeah.
was on something the last. Like he would come out to the ground.
Sure.
What's going on, everybody? Like,
I don't
dude,
think he was
you're-
on something. I think he was just drunk, and you could probably have been like, "Hey, want to go down to the bar?" And he would have been like, "Yeah, let's go."
yeah. Let's see what
Right.
kind of opportunity is out there.
I totally
But
remember talking to you about that.
But
Yeah,
but
he
in
was-
terms of somebody I saw at a convention that had no line, Elizabeth Berkley
Really?
Oh,
from Saved by the Bell. Yeah.
Yeah. No, you'd think that she would have. Not because not because it's a female doing this sort of thing, and that can be a thing, but actually because you would think that there'd be enough of a cult following for that. Like my kids watch that show.
It,
And then
But-
then you throw on to the fact that she did that movie that now has like life of its own for being such an awful movie
yeah.
that people
Well,
watch it to pick on it.
She
right?
also had, so everybody had their standard. They paid to have like, autograph, photograph at the table and everything.
Mhm.
She had added on in the bottom private video from her for like
Huh.
$110 at her table. So she would go take your phone in the back and record a private video for
What
you.
an ugly thing to say.
And it was like,
That's strange.
what a kind of video? Or is this a, hey, this is Elizabeth Berkley, or are we talking about something a little bit more showgirls there? Like what are we talking about there for $110?
I'm sure it's just, hey, this is Elizabeth Berkley. It's, but I'm sure that it probably never ends. Well, obviously it did because you said nobody was at her table. But I'm sure that the idea is that the opportunity for somebody to be like, I'm going to buy that and see what's in that secret box, right? It's like when you get one of those, eggs from the vending machine, you don't know what's in it.
But
You're like-
but she honestly, she kind of, when she was at the table, she looked like she had no interest in being there at all. And
Probably
maybe that's what was putting people off from like approaching her.
yeah.
Was like, because even if people aren't buying or getting signatures, usually somebody's walking up to the table to talk to the person.
Oh, do they allow that? Like, if you
Yeah.
haven't purchased anything, can you go say hi? And they're usually kind of okay with that.
They usually frown upon that. From
Do
what
they? Okay.
I've had quite a few of them, at least at the Wizard World one, or not the Wizard World, the Rose City Comic Con. There have been quite a few of them that said, "Yeah, it's fine for you to walk up and like say hi, as long
okay,
as
yeah.
as long as they don't have a line of people,
Mhm.
they're perfectly fine with it."
Real
So-
quick, Stay in Spirits has the good question. Who's the coolest celeb you've met at one of these and the worst?
Mm.
Dathan?
Oh, let me come. All you guys go for. I'll come back to that question. There's a lot.
I want to say one of the coolest ones I ever like. We've met Stan Lee, we've met William Shatner, but like I think one of the coolest ones we ever met was Weird Al Yankovic,
Mm.
and like he had the booth where like you couldn't even see where he was, like he was hiding himself, and you'd go up to him but like he'd talk to you or whatever, like shake his hand. I got him to sign one of his albums. But then he took one of the funniest pictures of with Chris and me, and really funny. And there was a girl that was before us. Do you remember this, Chris? That was wearing the
Dressed as
bell
Belle,
from
Beauty and the Beast.
from Beauty and the Beast, and he took the picture with her, and he got under her dress, and it was like peeking out. I don't know. He was cool. For me, the worst. I'll have to think about that one.
I thought Carrie Elwes was pretty cool because he actually asked each of us our names individually when we went in
That's
for
cool.
the picture.
Yeah.
The worst I would probably say is Pauly Shore.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me, actually.
Jeez.
And why was it? Was it just off-putting or just stupid?
He's just
a bad
incredibly
time?
off-putting.
Yeah.
I thought it would be kind of fun to get an autograph from him, but he was incredibly off-putting, and I was just like, whatever. I got a photograph from him or autograph from him, and it is what it is. But yeah, Carrie Elwes, to me, I was like, man, the fact the guy actually asked each of us our names as we walked in and like treated us like we were people. I was like, that's kind of cool.
Oh, there was another guy that did that too. Oh, yeah. I really appreciate when they'll give you a fist bump or something.
Yeah. So I can't
in
name
their
drop,
name.
or at least I could, but I don't want to.
Yeah, you
I
don't want
wanna-
celebrities
I
going
don't-
after you.
Well, so here's what happened. I met somebody in Vegas, and I hooked him up with something. No, hooked him up with
You
a
hooked him up
product.
in Vegas?
No. It was
What
a
an
product,
ugly
and
thing to say.
not a bad product. But yeah, it was something, and he was really appreciative of it. And this is a big celebrity athlete. He was really appreciative of it to the point where he got my cell phone number, and his entourage would call me when I came back to Oregon and ask me when I was going to come out to his area so that he could take me out for a night on the town. And they would do this randomly. They would call it like 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, whenever they were out doing whatever they were doing. And he was like, hey, give that Travis guy a call. See when he's coming out here again. He was a good guy to hang out with. And that happened. And then one of my friends found out, like we were out at a bar, and I caught my friend on my phone before they locked phones, right? And he's looking for the guy's phone number. And I'm like, oh, I got to get rid of this guy's phone number. So when they called, I was like, hey, tell so-and-so thank you so much. The favor has been returned 5 times over. I can't take him up on the offer, but let it go. That was crazy how many times that guy would call, because my fiance at the time, now my wife, she's like, is that so-and-so again? Like, why are they calling on a Wednesday at 2 in the morning? I'm like, I don't know. I want to hang out. But yeah,
It's over, Johnny.
that one was
It's over.
that celebrity
Nothing is over.
was pretty.
Nothing.
I don't think
You
that
just
celebrity
don't
is
turn it off.
always cool to everybody, but to me it was a unique story. I'll tell you guys off stream who it was.
Okay.
It was Warren Sapp, wasn't it?
No, but it may be getting close. No, it was not. It was not Warren Sapp. I'm not gonna even if you guessed it, I guess I would still say no because we're on public stream here. But no, it was not Warren Sapp. I've heard stories about Warren Sapp though. But yeah.
I can't believe you turned down Tom Brady that
Brady
many
that many
times.
No, it wasn't Brady either. No.
Must have been when he was with Giselle.
I've heard Brady doesn't do much of anything but play football and focus on only playing football. So I would be surprised if you would ever find Brady with a real nightlife, right? Like back in the day, yeah. That's what I've heard of that guy.
But anyway,
But yeah, Dathan,
we're
has
all
the
really
story.
jealous that you get to go to all this stuff, and
Yeah, but
I
worst
think
and
for me,
best.
like I can only do like 1 or 2 days. Like I can't. There's no way I could do like 4 days of the same thing. I would definitely go insane, and a lot of people I don't like seeing lines and stuff like that. So you got to figure out. Someone needs to write a book, and maybe you're the one to do it. This is your book idea. Going to different conventions across the United States, and the best, the way to avoid lines, where to be at, what point, maybe the best restaurants, hotels in the area. Someone should write a book about that, and that person is you, my friend.
Well,
that is a
there's
good.
already stuff like that that's out there that you can get that you can
Not exactly though.
not like write a book, nothing like
That's what you do.
nothing like that. I don't think I go to enough as some people do. I do go to some regular ones frequently that I see the same vendors there, and I talk to them every time that I stop by and stuff like that. But
And then you see that vendor that like you don't want to talk to, but you see him every time too, and he knows who you are.
that's a fair statement. That's not
Like,
debate. That's not a lie.
So Dathan, who was your best and worst though? You got time to think about it.
I don't. I've met a lot. I've met a lot of the main Marvel casts, and they've all been absolutely just amazing people. All of them. I know some people have bad experiences. I have not had a bad experience with anybody from Marvel at all, and that from like Chris Evans to Mark Ruffalo to all those, like, they've all been excellent people. Best and that's a hard one. If I was to pick the worst, I kind of go back to what Chris said a little bit. Off-putting. Bruce Campbell, actually.
Yeah, it sounded like it when you said that.
A little off-putting to, yeah. And I've met him twice, and I thought the first time was maybe just kind of a fluke, but the second time it was more of the same. And so I would probably say maybe Bruce Campbell. You know what? Maybe I just didn't catch him at good times. I mean, and that's entirely possible.
But he's an actor. I mean, so here's the thing. I believe that if it was a musician or an athlete, okay, I'll take that excuse for you caught him on a bad day. But his job is acting. That's his job.
Yep.
So if you get paid to show up to a convention and somebody's paying you the dollars, if you're a professional and you're good at your craft of acting, act. Show them that you're not having a good day. Give them their $100 worth or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
Like, so I actually don't give them the slight for that, because I was thinking that before when we were thinking of best and worst. I'm like, well, everybody has bad days. And I'm like, no, they're actors. This is their shtick. This is what they do.
To that point, Travis, like, what industry is it? Like, what? This is such an odd experience. Like, these actors come to these conventions to talk about a job that they had 20, 30 years ago on some week, like, and it went really good for them, obviously, and they're here to talk about it. But you just like talk about it and make money off a job that they had 30 years ago. It's crazy if you really think about it.
But that could also be sad. Like, I could see an actor resenting that aspect of it, and their manager being like, hey, just go do this because this is the only income you're going to get now, and you got a mortgage to pay, so let's go do it. I could see that being a little bit of a kick to the gut, but it still doesn't excuse, in my opinion, the inability to act nice. And like, you're happy that somebody wants to shake your hand for $60 or whatever the price is at that time. You're an actor. Now, if you're an athlete, I actually give you a pass on that.
He saying spirits, he might take you up on that.
For a buck, yeah.
Maybe I should show up at one of these conventions and have a panel about my 5 years I worked at Hollywood Video. And just
we can get into our VHS porno.
Talk about that job I had 15 years ago.
Right?
Yeah, I remember this time when I had to stock movie shelves with VHS.
That old man juice.
I think that it's. I think that that's, like I said, if it was like musician, if it was athlete, if it was any other trade industry, or not trade industry, but any other industry where there is celebrity involved and there's autograph stuff, I wouldn't excuse it entirely, but I'd be like, well, they might have just been having a bad day and they're out of their element here. But I feel like an actor, that's your element. Like, you don't go into acting to not want attention, right? So you don't have that as your excuse. And if you're having a bad day, get past it. Just say hi. Now, with Campbell, I see that Alikrian's saying something about him.
Hello,
too.
friends.
Hey, Eric. But
What's up,
isn't
Eric?
he also a Southern Oregon guy?
He is an Oregon guy.
He lives in Medford.
Yeah, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder what he's like when he's around there, because he's
Well, he was supposed to be the guest on the next show, but I guess
well,
he's not
may
coming
have burnt
now.
that bridge. Well, or maybe he can explain himself.
Now listen, I don't mean it to sound like he was the absolute worst person that I've ever encountered.
Yeah.
98% of the time where I've encountered a celebrity again or whatever, it's I've always had a positive experience. It's always been good. Just with Bruce Campbell, it was just it didn't seem like he just didn't want to be there. Like he just didn't want to be in the environment that he was in. The both times that I met him.
Yeah.
So I hate this one.
Wait,
So
when we met him at the theater, the whatever theater we met him at here in Portland,
yeah,
he seemed fine.
yeah, to you, not to me.
He shook
Yeah,
my
see,
hand.
he
and
didn't
it was
like
fine.
Dathan.
We
didn't
shook
shake
your
my
hand, but he
hand.
didn't shake Dathan's.
He
Yeah, he
signed.
said-
He signed the book. Because you had to buy his book. Do you remember that, Eric?
I didn't buy his book. I just shook his hand.
I
Oh,
bought
hey,
the
look at
book.
You did, yeah.
I bought the book, so I was the one that gave him money from my wallet.
Yeah,
Here's
absolutely.
money from my wallet,
Mhm.
and you're gonna sign my book, and just kind of shoved it aside and shakes your hand. Doesn't talk to me about anything. So
I do remember when I met you know that really awful movie The Room. I met the actor randomly, and the not the main guy, but the guy who plays Mark in it, the blonde guy.
Mhm.
I met him at a theater in Portland, and he was doing something where he was like talking about the movie, and I just happened to be walking by, and my friend's like, dude, that's Mark from The Room. And I was like, oh, let me go talk to this guy. And I had a few in me, and so I was talking to this guy after he had been done signing and doing his thing, and he was complaining to me about how this movie's ruined his acting career because he was cast in it. And I said, because I'd had a few in me, I said, no, what ruined your acting career is you're not a good actor.
Was your acting?
Yeah. And he's like, well, come on, man, that's not fair. And I'm like, no, that's what makes that movie great. And he's like, well, the direction and everything wasn't quite, like he's doing this thing. And I'm like, no. You can go to Portland and watch that movie with everybody and then talk about the movie. And the reason people are watching it is not because the movie's all to blame here. You're a part of it. He didn't like it. So I think he would probably say, to the question of who's the worst person you met at one of these things, he'd probably say Travis. Because I didn't pay anything. I didn't go to the actual screening. I barged into the end of the night sort of event and then told him that he was, partly to blame. Now, that's not very nice. I would actually take that back, but still.
Eric, what is your favorite celebrity you've met at one of these and the worst? Do you know?
Oh,
Besides me.
The best, obviously. You can't,
Chris, I'm gonna go with. Yeah, he was the best and the worst. No, I haven't met too many people. Paul
At
Eiding
these conventions.
Paul Eiding was really cool.
oh yeah,
Paul Eiding was really cool. He talked to us for a long time. He seemed like he just wanted to hang out and chill with fans, Signed your stuff, no problems. Yeah, he was dope. So I think Paul Eiding's probably my favorite guy I've met. I couldn't say I've really had a bad experience, but I haven't met too many people. Like Dathan's met everyone.
Yeah,
I will say that probably one of the nicest one, not the best. Well, you could categorize them together. The best and nicest was, and I'm not saying this because of my fandom for Transformers, but Peter Cullen was a very, very nice guy.
That's cool.
Just laid back, just really cool. I don't know if maybe it's because I got there at a good time to meet him because his handlers weren't like shoving people along or anything like that. And I met him in Portland in January, and I was talking with Eric about this last night actually. But Peter Cullen, he's definitely up there. It's probably one of the nicest and the best ones that I've ever encountered.
And for him to be like the guy to meet
Mm-hmm.
and be that nice, I think speaks volumes also, right?
Yeah. And the term, never meet your heroes, that's that it's just it is what it is. It's just a saying, I never understood that saying or anything. I'm sure someone who had a really bad experience long ago was like, well, that guy's a dickhead, and don't ever meet your heroes, and then all of a sudden it spiraled into something else. It's not true. Peter Cullen is my hero. I met him, really nice guy. So yeah, meet your heroes.
What I would want to know from Eric, because he seems like this kind of guy to answer this question, how much would you pay for a picture with Denise Richards?
Ooh, Denise Richards.
Now,
What does she
Denise
look like
Richards
now?
now, or
Now
Denise
or these are
Richards and Wild Things?
1998?
How
Yeah.
old is she now?
We
She's
can
gotta
do
be in her
both.
40s, right?
Dr. Christmas Jones, Denise Richards, I would pay more, I think.
Okay, but how much? You can throw that out there, but how much? Because she's charging here. She's with Dathan.
She's got to be 200.
I wouldn't go that high, but the number that popped into my head for 1998.
Yeah, no, you can pick the year, but I need now as well.
But in
Yeah, I'm
today's
saying-
dollars,
I need to see the
$1998.
depreciation. That's correct. No, in today's dollars, but we take Denise Richards from Wild Things, put her up now, and then
150.
Denise
I
Richards.
do 150 for that.
Okay, but now what about Denise Richards now?
Well,
What's the
Denise Richards
depreciation?
now? There's OnlyFans. Just go on OnlyFans. Right?
No, she's at
She
this.
has an
She's at this thing.
OnlyFans? I wouldn't know.
She's with Dathan right now, so choose your words very carefully.
I'm missing some context here, but I'm gonna go 125. That's not
Incorrect.
bad.
What if I was to tell you that I could get you Denise Richards now after Dathan's done hanging out with her for $75?
That's a bargain.
That's a bargain that you can't turn down, and I will see you tomorrow at the Washington State Horror Convention.
All right.
It is $75. But now here's the other one. So I'm going to throw two more at you, Eric.
Okay.
Juliette Lewis now, and Natasha Henstridge, star of Species in Species 2.
Right.
I walked by both of them today. Both of them.
Yeah, but don't spoil the price tag.
I won't.
Yeah, okay.
I won't spoil anything.
Uh-huh.
I don't have a
Because I do have questions, David.
less than Denise Richards.
Less for both.
Yeah.
Julia Lewis, star of Cape Fear.
Right.
And Natural Born Killers, I
Natural
guess,
Born
and
Killers,
just
yeah.
acting kind of annoying everywhere else.
Right.
And trying to have a punk band, which was bad.
$50.
$50 for Denise Richards, for Juliette Lewis. Incorrect. I can only let her go for the low price of $90.
Wait, What's Eating Gilbert Grape? I forgot she was in that.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Okay, so moving on. You got Natasha Henstridge.
Yeah.
How much?
I never liked Species.
Well, then that's fine. $5, $20. Come on, it's her. Natasha Henstridge. Doesn't matter if you like her movie or not.
$25.
$5. You're gonna go that $5?
No.
Ouch. See, I think that she's 60. I think that she's that she's undercharging. But Kane Hodder. What?
She's 50.
No, 60.
It says 50.
I'm on their website right now. Are they doing this in real time? Are they listening to us? And they're HTML adjusting the price?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I think Eric's talking
50 years old.
You're talking price.
That's correct.
What's that?
She's
Eric
50
was
years old.
Oh, Eric was talking age.
And she's taller than me. Like, but then again, Lisa was taller than me.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
all right,
yeah.
it's fine.
Yeah, you're fine with the height thing.
Yeah, I'm fine with the height difference. That's fine.
Yeah. As we get older, we get smaller.
Yeah.
Saying Spirit says, what celebrity would y'all want to meet the most?
That may have to wait till next week. I think.
Yeah.
I need to
have
are we-
Yeah, that's a good one to table because this is actually a pretty funny conversation.
Yeah, that's the next week conversation.
But Dathan,
Yes.
of those three celebrities that I listed, which one had no line at their table?
No line at all.
Can you repeat the list again?
Juliette Lewis at $90 because I think this might have to do with it.
Okay.
Denise
well, I
Richards
gotta
at
rephrase that.
75 and
So
Natasha
we can't
Henstridge
say
at 60.
Denise Richards was not there today. She shows up tomorrow and Sunday.
Well then that
So-
means that she's going to be in hot demand, right? She
Maybe.
would know, hey, I only got to be here for 2 days to make my cash.
Probably. So you can pick someone else who's there if you want. I can tell you if there was a line or not.
Okay. Well, let me take a look.
But
I'm
the
gonna stick-
the two that are left, the two individuals who you mentioned who are on that list.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Let me add Davey. Who had a line? Who didn't have a line? Julia Lewis had some people, right? She had some. Natasha stupid. I hate Natasha had more. So Juliette Lewis probably had less people than Natasha did.
Bang.
Ooh.
I agree 1,000%. Juliet Lewis asking $90 to meet her and all of her annoying mannerisms and speeches, and it was cute maybe in Cape Fear or whatever, and it became
eating Gilbert
super
Grape.
annoying later. No, $90. Get out of here with that garbage.
Maybe
Come on.
you go to these and you're charging $90 at first, but no one's going to your table and say, "Hey,
Drop
I'm
it
gonna
down.
slash in that price. We're going
That's
to
right.
$45.
You bring
Come on
yourself
over here."
bring yourself a blue light to turn on, and when you see that Warren, it's half off now.
Right.
Now, Kane Hodder, who you met, right?
Mhm.
He was only $60, but 120. It says it's got a 60/120. So is it 60
So-
for one person and 120 if you get your friend? in?
Okay, so we're talking two different things here. So you're talking just photos, photo ops.
Yeah.
You're talking not autographs. Photo ops. Ryan and Chris know about this very well. Eric does too. That when you do a photo op at these conventions, you walk in, you take a photo, you say hi, they shovel you out. It's
Yeah.
a 12-second interaction, then you are gone. That's it. So
Okay.
you're getting all the info off the website for that's a photo. So the Kane Hodder one was $60. You can have up to 4 people in a photo. It's going to be the same price. If you have 1 person or 4 people, it's going to be the same price.
Right.
Okay.
So Kane Hodder was $60 by himself, or $120 in the Friday the 13th Part 8 getup, which we showed here earlier.
Mhm.
But what was your yes, there it is right there. So what is your question about Kane Hodder?
Well, I was wondering if he was if he had like the big line, because I saw that it was 60. Like, was he
So-
more in demand? Because I would think so, actually,
I would
than
imagine
either
at
of
this
those
con,
two.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I will mention something about Kane Hodder. So I met Kane Hodder last year at the Hollywood Theater. They did a Friday the 13th Part 7 screening in 35 millimeter
right.
film.
Yeah.
And Kane Hodder showed up, and he did like a Q&A and signed autographs and all that stuff.
Cool.
So his autographs were $20 a piece for one autograph, and you could take as many pictures as you wanted to. And I think I have like 15 or 20 pictures of myself and all this stuff. And he's charging at this convention $80 for one. $80 for a single photo or a single autograph, which that was kind of that was quite a bit. I was not
Plus tax.
it's all everything's taxed and all that stuff already.
Yeah.
So you don't have to pay extra. But yeah, that was probably the most shocking one that I saw. $80 for a single one. When I thought it was gonna be a lot less, because like I said, I paid $20 for one for when I saw him last year.
Chris Ryan and I met Will Wheaton, and he was it was like a 12-second thing, but he seemed cool. He was cool with us. He was like, oh yeah, it seemed like he was stoked to be there.
Yeah, that's right. You were in that photo.
Yeah.
What about Dina Meyer? Was she there today?
Yeah, she had a lot. Almost all of the Starship Trooper people had a huge line. The biggest lines were Kane Hodder, Nick Castle, who is the very first Michael Myers in Halloween, and
Imagine that line was huge.
Yeah, those lines were big. They were very big lines. What I'll do tomorrow is I'll take pictures of people that are in line. You guys can compare.
Yeah, we need metrics on this.
You need some little bit of context.
Yeah.
Oh, are you going to dress up? Because I
that?
want people to come up to you and say, "Are you on YouTube?" And like you're going to say, "Yes, I am."
No, that happened at the Gaming Expo.
Yeah,
I know, but you need to do it again.
he needs a different suit.
Just wear the same suit. Like, oh,
Actually, wear the Gaming Expo suit.
I saw you at the Gaming Expo, and you're
That's
here
right.
too. You crazy?
It's possible.
I bet if you want to pay to meet Denise Richards, get a photo op, and actually have, well, you don't need to because you got her, but have the long conversation, you wear that suit.
Yeah, and then you
any of the
figure out
celebrities,
like what hotel she's staying at.
She's bigger than Mario.
You're gonna flip the tables on the celebrities by wearing that suit, and they're gonna be like, well, wait a minute, hold on, what do we have going on here? Let's talk.
Yeah, where are you staying?
Yeah, that's
You're my
right.
celebrity stalker.
The way this conversation has turned on its head 10 times over is mind-boggling. It's just
That's what Travis does. That's what
I know.
Travis.
That's what I
yeah,
do.
it was the peer pressure a-hole. It's
That's right.
It's an interesting topic. It's good
It
time
is an
filler for
interesting
sure.
topic. I do think it's fun. I think that the idea, like, I think that there's almost like a movie waiting to be made about, like they did that with The Wrestler a little bit, with Mickey Rourke's The Wrestler, about, you know,
Yep.
somebody who's at their prime, and then as they start dealing with aging and they deal with this going away and kind of the midlife crisis that happens with somebody of that. I think that there's something to be done with a celebrity movie star that then goes on the circuit of the con tour and is doing the cattle call photos. I think that there's a tragic story to be told there at some point, and that's always kind of intrigued me when I see these photo op lists. I didn't realize that it was as fast as you said. I actually would
it
be
is
disappointed.
quick.
Yeah,
It
I
is
think I would
very,
be
very quick.
disappointed.
And because when I was in New York, my wife and I got a photo. I'm behind on my Instagram postings right now. I need to get caught up on that.
Mhm.
Paul Bettany was there, and we did a photo. He plays Vision, for people who don't know, plays Vision in the MCU. When
Who
you
they're making a
walk
new
up-
show of, I believe.
Yeah, I think they're doing a new WandaVision or a Scarlet Witch or something. But when we walk up, because you're behind, like it's locked down. There's curtains all over the place, and you can't go. You have to go in certain paths and all these things. And then when you walk up, the people will tell you, it's like, okay, you can't do this, or this, and you got to stand on this side and this side. And then you got to go in. You say, hey, how's it going? And then you take a picture, and then you are outdoor. The only time where you may get an extra second or two is if they check the picture and your eyes are closed, or there's a glare from your glasses, and they'll have you retake the picture right then.
Yeah,
Right then.
Chris, do you remember? Have you told that story when we saw Stan Lee, and we the whole thing was, I think this was pre-pandemic, but like you could not. They told you could not touch him at all.
Yeah. Yeah, if you
could,
see any picture, not to interrupt you, but if you see any picture of any fan with Stan Lee, like a professional one with like at a comic convention, he's always sitting in a chair, and people are always kind of gathered around him.
Yeah, that's right.
Always.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Okay, so that's what he does.
We had to use like hand sanitizer. I can't remember. It was something wild.
Well, he probably,
really?
you know,
Like,
I mean, he's up there in years, and you're
he
shaking
was.
hands with 1,000
Yeah.
people.
was,
you know what I mean? I guess I get
hand
that. Yeah.
sanitizer. Don't breathe on them. Keep your eyes straight ahead.
He was ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
and he may
probably never got
have some
COVID.
health thing that we don't know about.
I'm
You know
sure
what I
he
mean?
did,
Like
yeah.
he may have something that he doesn't want people. So I actually forgot the coolest celeb, and I'll name drop on this, was Elsa from Frozen.
At Disneyland.
You're in the Disney movies now too.
Yeah.
Because I went to I went up there, and my kids wanted me to get a photo with her, and so I did. And we're standing there, and you know, she's like, "So how are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm doing okay." And she
Just like at the bar or something.
No. And she goes. So are you having a good time? I said, "Yeah, it's fun, but you know, I get it. I'd run off and live in a castle too if I could." Or, you know, like I'd run away from all this mess and go live in some castle too. And then she looked at me and she goes, "Oh yeah, you can come live with me." and I said, "Sounds all right. What time you off?" she said 7. And I said, "All right, I'll meet you there and we can take off to this castle." And my kids heard all of it and everything.
That's
They're
funny.
like, "Dad, that's awesome. You're gonna go live with Elsa." Yeah. So yeah, I liked it.
God dang it.
Guys, Galaga guy did it again.
Hey, buddy.
That's right.
Eric, you brought this on yourself. You do know this, right?
You're the one who made. You're the one who did it.
I didn't see I saw a little bit of last week's show, so I don't know if it carried over.
Oh yeah, that's
I
carry
don't know
on.
if this is
Thank
gonna
you,
be a
Galaga
common-
guy. You didn't have to do that,
common
but
thing
Yeah,
now.
thank you, Galaga.
we appreciate it.
Good dude.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, speaking, I did see a couple of our previous guests got to go to the Stern Pinball Expo that happened over the week. Did you see that last week?
Mm-hmm.
Stern had a
Yes, Galaga guy. Should I send him the link? No, Galaga guy. There was a whole. They did a whole behind the scenes thing of X-Men.
Mm-hmm.
And it looked like it was the exact same thing that we saw, but it had more people that had worked on the machine there.
That's cool.
Like they had like 10 or 15 people there. Like the one we saw had 3 guys.
At the this is the Pinball Expo, I presume.
Yeah. The Danger guy, Jack Danger, and then a couple of the other guys. So, but yeah, it looked really cool. I think Pinball Expo, compared to PRG or something, it looks a lot less crowded. So that's probably a good thing. And you know, you could maybe it looked like it was a lot less crowded, but the pinball players is probably up a notch.
Yeah, I did see some of the lines that people had behind those screens. But one thing that was really cool is they brought in a bunch of modded and homebrew pinball machines that people had made from themselves, and that was really cool. I was impressed at how some of those turned out.
Yes, and I got on Galaga Guy is doing a show now on
it's every week
at 8:00 on Friday nights. We do 9, and yeah, he's doing like a weekly drink. So he just does a chill and chat. I think is what he calls it. So
it's very similar to what I do.
Right?
Is it though?
Netflix and chill and chat. It's fine.
So back to your thing. So I'm trying to figure this out. So okay, so when it comes to the photo op, that's all that they're doing at the Washington State HorrorCon, or are they also doing like autograph stuff too?
Okay, so celebrity guests are set up into 2 categories. They are set up into photo ops and they're set up into autographs.
Okay.
And when you go up, the photo ops are you pay X amount of dollars for a professional photo. And that's what I sent a picture that Ryan has posted on here so far a couple times tonight. That's a professional photo. Yes.
That's professional?
That's the professional photo. Mainly because the guy on the super A-list star on the far left, that's why it's an all-star photo. Because that
yeah.
Anyway.
What's with the barcode on the very bottom there? Is that professional?
That's
professional.
That's a screenshot from my phone that was sent over because I didn't have the code downloaded all the way yet. So below this, there's like there's a code that you can download to make copies. So that's why.
Okay.
But anyway, back to Travis's question. So all of the guests are in one wing of the convention where you can go and get autographs from them, and the photo ops are separate. So they kind of separate in 2 categories. So they have time slots they gotta get to. Yep. Now, some of the guests will offer free selfies if you buy an autograph, or you can just buy a picture from them, and you can take it from your phone if you want. Yeah. But it's not going to be like the professional photo that you saw.
Sure.
But
if you want to say hi and get your little hey, I loved you in this thing, or any of that fan service out of the way conversational thing, you'd pay for the autograph to get that. Or is it still cattle call sign?
Not necessarily. I think a couple times where it's funny that you brought up Mjolnir for your God of War, because the guy that voices Thor in God of War, his name is Ryan Hurst, and he was the quarterback in the movie Remember the Titans, the Denzel Washington movie.
Oh, yeah.
He had a booth at SummerCon a few years ago, and there wasn't anybody at his booth. And so I walked by, and I was like, I think that's the guy. And so I walked over. I was like, hey, man, I loved you in Remember the Titans. That movie was kick-ass. That was awesome. He's like, oh, man, thank you. I appreciate it. And then that was it. So I just said that. I didn't pay him $5 to say that.
Right. I was just thinking that a lot of people would want to go do the handshake, say the like, hey, I love this, or tell me a funny thing about the, like get like something
Mhm.
like that. And it seems like you don't get that option in the photo op booth, which in the photo op, I figured actually you'd get it more there than from the autograph line.
No, you
But
get
it
it.
sounds like it's the opposite.
It
Well,
is complete opposite.
Game
Yeah.
On Expo, you were talking to those guys for a long time, the Mortal Kombat guys, right?
Yeah, I was talking about, I don't know, like a half hour.
Well,
Yeah.
that's a long time.
Something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
But again, that was an autograph. That wasn't, well, they didn't have professional photos. That was just, with your phone,
Mhm.
or whatever. But, and I think a lot of it depends on how big or what the line is behind you too. So, I mean, if there's a bunch of people behind you and they're kind of shuffling you through, to kind of, we got to get this moving, get this done. Then obviously that plays a big factor into it.
Right.
I think what Eric brought up with the Game On Expo is that there wasn't anybody behind us, and so we were able to talk to them for as long as they wanted to talk.
The same was true at CyberCon with Paul Eiding. Like no one
Same
was
thing.
really interested in talking to him at the moment, and so we could chat with him for a while and ask him about what it was like to work on the show or the video game or whatever.
Yeah, but it goes two way. It goes with the customer being myself and the guest too, because I don't want to take up too much of his time. So because if I'm taking up too much of his time, they're not making money, and they're there to obviously to make money. And so and I don't want to bore them to death, with like, oh, this and yes and this and that, that type of thing. And so,
that would be rad.
Yeah,
if you did. I think I'd applaud it.
But yeah, Chris, when Chris Akins, I hope he's still on here. We went to a Crypticon in 2019, and we talked to CJ Graham, who played Jason in Friday the 13th Part 6, and we talked to him for, it must have been 40 minutes, 45 minutes for a while, just chatting about just tattoos and the movies and all that stuff. So every guest is different. It all depends. Some of them,
it's all different. Okay.
When I got an autograph from Chris Evans at Emerald City last year, it was an assembly line. They had 2 tables before. You couldn't do anything. It was just like I put my hammer down on the thing and they just slid it over, and it was just like this.
Yeah.
There was no how's it going, hey, anything like that. They just showed. And there are some autograph companies that run these things.
Oh, that's true too, right? That's their gig.
Yeah, that is their gig, and they make it so that the interaction you have is very, very minimal. Very minimal.
Yeah.
So it's not all doom and gloom. It's it's a lot. I've had much better experiences than I have had bad. And
I think it sounds
I've got
like a lot of
my
fun.
time and money's worth.
Yeah, no, I think it sounds like a lot of fun. I just was interested because you'd kind of said like, well, okay, preface this with how much we spent by blah blah, and I was curious just like what the experience is like that way. And that, that's I think it does sound fun. To be honest, I think it does.
My understanding is volunteering is the best way to go if you really want to talk to the people.
Oh, like volunteering at this show, because then you're kind of killing time on the floor. Yeah.
Well, the year that we went and got a picture with Stan Lee, the people that were actually helping him out were they owned a comic book shop here in town. And so I talked to the guy and he said, yeah, we volunteered for this and we got stuck, on kind of just entertaining Stan Lee is how he put it.
Yeah, sure.
But
water, go get it.
Unfortunately, their comic book shop didn't stick around because all they did was sell like high-end, graded comics.
Yeah.
And so you'd walk into their shop and like it was pretty empty, but it had like Spider-Man. It was the McFarlane one that they wanted like 15,000 for, and it's like, this is Salem. You're not going to be able to sell any of these comics for what you're wanting here. But yeah, I mean, I talked to him and he said, yeah, if you volunteer, you get to spend time talking to a lot of these celebrities that are here and everything. So I just never have had the urge to volunteer to be a bitch boy for some rich
Gopher
asshole.
to be a gopher. And I don't know how rich a lot of these people are anymore, right? $60 a whack. I don't know.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
They're middle
No,
class compared to me.
Yeah. No, that's cool, Dathan. That's cool, man. It seems that convention that you're out sounds like it would be a lot of fun.
And
Dathan
Dathan says he's not going to go to a convention next week or whatever. Oh, he's going to another one. We're going to look at the calendar, right?
I am tapping out. Like the next one is going to be in January. It's going to be Fan Expo here in Portland.
He's going to one before that, you guys.
I will.
We're going to look at the calendar.
I'll put money on it.
There's one next week.
It's not going to happen. I mean,
we'll have our own convention next year.
If they did 80s cartoon convention next week, you would go. If that was just sprung on you.
Yeah, I probably would.
And the Transformers guys are going to be there.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't even. I'm not even going to say they are. It's just going to be maybe.
Bumblebee is going to be there,
perhaps, or at least a statue of.
But I will say there is a vendor here that has a ton of original Transformers here, like in the box.
At the HorrorCon.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's the weird thing too that I've noticed about these cons is like they start blending genres and like different things together with no rhyme or reason.
Oh yeah,
that to me is weird, right?
The swap meet that Chris and I went to, like there's like vendors selling jewelry and pots and like what does this have to do with anything? I don't know, but like if you can sell it, if you can make money, like go for it. Yeah.
But no, it is odd. So there must be vendors that, and I'm sure this is common knowledge, Dathan, or whatnot to people who go to these, but they must just go on from con to con to con, and it doesn't really matter if it's got con in the name. I'm going to try to sell what my collectible is, and that's just the end of it, because that's my storefront.
That's
right.
That's pretty much it. And so, but there are some things, because there are some comic book vendors here, but there's a lot of that type of comic book that people will actually buy to get signed or just to have. There's a lot of
horror comic books, right?
Yeah,
so that would make sense.
There's a lot of stuff like that. There's a lot of toys and stuff like that people will buy. So there's a lot of toy vendors here. There's a lot of T-shirt vendors and stuff like that. And then there's always, and every convention I go to, there's always the licorice people that sell that
licorice?
Shitty licorice that lasts like five seconds after you buy it. It's terrible.
Is it black licorice?
I'm
like
sorry,
what is
man.
it?
It's just like these long licorice ropes, and it's. If the guy's watching, man, I'm sorry, but it tastes like shit. They're not good.
We just lost a subscriber.
Good. Yeah, sorry. But yeah, there's quite the mix of. Because I think this is the first big horror convention that I've been to. Mm-hmm. And they really cater to the guests that are here. So you can buy their stuff to get it signed by them. Because they're, it's like, oh, I can't get it somewhere else. I'll just get it here and pay a premium on it.
Saiyan Spirits says a lot of chatter from some of the home arcade YouTubers talking about Portland Gaming Convention next year. So... yeah, too bad for them. I don't watch any of their stuff anymore. Just kidding.
What's in it for them? Like if you're into arcade, cabinets and stuff, there's not a lot of that to be
I'd say it's well, what is going on in home arcade right now? Pretty much nothing. So
dude, what are you talking about? There's a new claw machine. Have you heard about this?
Well, the news with that this week, Eric, is that people placed orders for the claw machine and they got canceled.
They already got canceled.
So through one of the websites, they got canceled. So that was the whole big controversy today on YouTube. Like, oh god,
I cleaned out my garage last week for nothing.
They did. They had the arcade one up announced the Polaroid photo booth.
Oh, hey, there we go.
But
keep Denise Richards on hand. Now I got a new business op.
They Joe Wallace bought that Polaroid thing if he watches, and it's the same thing that they came out with a couple years ago. So
okay,
it's not a new idea.
I did not know that.
But
doesn't matter.
You know who I have been watching are the maybe we can get into it next week. I think we're running out of time, but they call these guys the toy tubers. I've been watching these guys talk about toys. So it's a whole nother rabbit hole.
Do you tell him you have an unopened Sky Striker?
Yeah, right. I still have my. I was thinking too, like we could go to one of these conventions and I could sell a lot of my crap. And if we get the table price right, like I don't want to pay $700 for a table, but they are pivoting to pinball. But there's some good guys for sure. I'd love to meet some people in person for sure. So it'd be cool.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean,
I'm not
Galaga guy, right? And B Kong and those guys seem dope.
Yeah, B Kong has been to Portland a couple times, and I barely missed him once. So he needs to come up here again.
There needs to be like a mass gathering at Next Level.
Speaking of that, Dathan, I do have this pulled up. I thought I did. Right here. There is going to be a pinball launch party for X-Men.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
And I can barely see that.
So can I.
This is the West Coast. On the very bottom, it says Next Level on November 8th.
Yeah, the very last, November 8th.
So that is a Friday, I believe. So I was thinking maybe we skip that week doing a podcast and we all go to the launch party.
Count me in.
If you guys are interested. So what it is, it's the normal shtick of going the next level, but you got to bring an extra like $10 for the tournament.
Yeah.
If you just want the badge, the X-Men badge, you just need to log on to the machine and play it after 7 p.m. But I think the tournament is where it gets really interesting. And I'd love to see how some of you guys do. I mean, we probably won't do very well at all, but
yeah, you've seen how we do. Dathan wins. That's how we do.
There was that one guy. Remember last time I was talking about like he has his pinball gloves. Like
I get too nervous
now.
I get too nervous at Next Level playing because
and you get
everything
people
is
watching you. Right.
Not just that. No, it's actually that everything is in such nice condition. I prefer a table that's somewhere dark and secluded so that I can tilt and not worry about it. Like I can nudge and bump and not worry about it. I always feel like that behavior is extremely discouraged when the machines are so nice
and broken in. It's got a few miles on her, you know.
Yeah.
Just go play the home edition of Jurassic Park at Costco. That one's broken.
I saw your short today.
Is it broken already?
I need to watch that.
The plunger was broken, like it pulled out wrong.
No. But there is a whole technique. Like if you're just standing straight at a pinball table and just hitting the buttons, you're actually doing it wrong. You're supposed to like kind of hunch down a little bit and get like in a football stance and like be able to move it. You know, that's we'll go to this if you guys go to this thing on the 8th of November.
Yeah.
We'll see these guys aren't just standing straight on this thing.
Right.
They're into it. Moving.
Yeah. Well, I think that it goes from one time I got chastised by somebody at a tournament for not just playing the table because I was, bumping and nudging or whatnot. And they were like,
look, rubbing is racing, man. That's the.
And I actually said, well, I'm not competing in your tournament anyway, so who cares? And they're like, okay.
Don't rub another man's rhubarb.
It's a
they
physical
backed
game.
off at that
Pinball's
point.
a physical game.
That's my point.
The physicality is somewhat encouraged. That's why there's.
That's my point.
There's a limit at which you can't exceed, but
and the machine does that for you. That's part of getting to know a machine. Right. That is part of it.
But there's a reason that limit's not zero. Right.
I know.
You can go above. You can go above zero, and there's a reason they did that.
But we'll see though. Maybe it's because I don't go to enough pinball places. Like Ryan had said, and that maybe I'll like watching will make me feel more at ease playing the way that I would play if nobody's watching.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm just throwing that out there if you want to do that. I think that could be really cool, and we could take that week off for the show. So I have been doing this show all year, And well, the one week we did do like a Tuesday night or something, but I don't think there's unless the Switch 2 drops.
That's when you're going to be off.
We'll take that week off, but I doubt it. Like I don't even know if the Switch 2 is going to get announced this year at this point.
It seems very elusive.
Real quick before we go, I had pulled up this video. Replay, Lee. Did you see this, Chris? Or any of you guys?
Mm-mm.
But at the end is where it gets interesting. Yeah, right here. So check out the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
It says wish list now, Xbox, PlayStation 5, Nintendo. It doesn't say Nintendo Switch.
Nintendo, just Nintendo.
With eyes.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, so you think that it's a Switch
what is
2 game?
Yeah.
Well, it does have two eyes.
Was that a leaked ad, or is that on like available now? Like, is it pulled or anything?
Yeah, this is a real ad. Like, it's not.
But has it been pulled? Like, Nintendo hasn't like pulled it down or sent flags to go have it removed?
They haven't sued anybody yet.
I pulled it off Twitter this morning, so they could have, but
interesting.
You know what it is? I think some of these publishers are getting frustrated that they have not announced the Nintendo Switch 2
Switch
yet.
2, yeah.
And they've got a project they've been working on. And we want to talk about this thing. Like, we want to generate buzz about it. Well, we can't. It's not for the Nintendo Switch. It's for the next one. So anyway, I just throwing that is really interesting. And I bet we might see more of that going forward.
Mm-hmm.
But so anyway, but yeah, if you guys are in the chat and you guys also want to meet up, like Meatball Saucy or any your other friend Chris, we can all meet up on that Friday, November 8th. Anyway, I'm gonna cut the show tonight. I'm going to the Duck football game tomorrow, so I need to get a little bit of sleep. And Dathan, you need to get your beauty sleep for more convention.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Tomorrow.
You got to look good for Denise Richards.
That's right.
Yeah. You better get a photo with Denise Richards, man.
Don't let her out of your sight. I need her for that Polaroid booth. I got the second business opportunity.
I don't know where all this came from. This just kind of came out of nowhere. So, do you guys want to super chat $80 or however much it was? And,
Gallagher guys sending us over. Yeah,
he is drunk.
Have a drink on us, man. The song, man.
It is good.
Gallagher guy, you're the man, dude. You're the man. We need you need to come on the show again, dude, and you need to come out to the West Coast.
Hang out.
Yeah,
you need to come out to the West Coast for PRG or whatever.
You guys can crash at my place.
Exactly. Alikrian.
Lovely futon.
I'll bring my tent and camp in the backyard.
Right. You could just pretend like you're one of the homeless guys outside. No one would notice you.
I'll make sure I'm up at 2 a.m. knocking on your window.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Alikrian says to the previous thing, Playtonic, the devs, tweeted, as well as PC, Yooka-Laylee will be on PS5, Xbox Series, and Nintendo with eyes.
Yeah.
With that trailer, too. So, yeah. And we'll have to come out. We need to come out to your neck of the woods, too. So, we'll make it happen. Thank you, Gallagher guy, for the super chat. Appreciate you, bro. All right. We're going to end it. Thank you guys. Like this video, consider subscribing. If you're seriously not subscribed at this point, please do. And maybe next week we'll go into my stupid things that I bought video. Because I bought some things that I didn't even have time to talk about it this week. But we'll get into it, I'm sure. So, I'm gonna have some packages arrive in December, I think. Yeah. Anyway, thank you guys. And any final thoughts before we go? Doc and talk.
I got nothing. Hope to see
Okay.
everyone next week.
Yeah. Have a
Yeah.
good time, Dathan.
So try to
Get that Denise Richards picture.
Jesus Christ, my God.